All right. We doing any better than we were? Maybe my control panel doesn't want to show me anything, but hopefully this is at least a little bit better. Oh, of course not. Yeah. Two-step verification is nice if you're in a situation you don't expect to see people using your stuff. But golly, no, don't add. Let me live stream. Yes, I'm signed in. Awesome. Could you please let me... I don't have permission to view this page. This is my own live stream. What do you mean? I don't know why it's deciding. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna start, and hopefully things get a little bit smoother as I go. But I really want to work on this, and so that's what I'm gonna do. Glue. I think I want thick glue so that it takes longer to dry. Maybe. If you can hear me, please let me know, because I always have in the back of my mind that I'm just talking to myself. So if you're out there watching me struggle through this beginning of a stream, please let me know, because don't smell good, tell you that. But one part glued. Yay. And we're only 45 minutes past when I tried to start streaming the first time. At this rate, we should be done by about midnight. Yay. Alright, I'm going to try to keep it so that this part is last because it's hard to stand it up on the end. So I'm trying to do all these flat pieces first-ish. Then it's going to get off screen pretty quick, I fear, since we're already like way up here. But it does look cool, so that's a positive. Okay. Yeah, I think that's just about right. So I'm going to use gap filling, or slowest cure time. Man, that went on easy. This plane is going to be big. Okay, so last is this tail part, which again might be more difficult because I probably should have, well, both of these are going to be not easy, but I'm at least going to try here and pop this on the end, and I'll probably have to hold it because I can't really stand it on its nose. Well, maybe I can. This is going to be a, yeah, see, I'm standing it on the nose. And then I'm going to try to just glue it in like this. But nice and tall. Sorry, I just glued the finger on this glove, and so now I am trying to put a new one on. And if you ever put on these gloves before, they do not like it when your hands are a little warm. Man, maybe I should have just left the other glove on. Well, that'll have to work. All right, let's just... get this nose on. I'm using the floor here as a prop so I can get this nose on square. Okay. All right, well, that's the fuselage pretty much done. This thing being massive, but pretty cool. So I guess we can put on the nose cone here, which should be relatively straightforward. Come on, that's crazy. Okay, that's that done. So I guess I can put that away for now because that's just gonna get in the way. All right, what else do we got? Maybe throw on some of these. These are the elevators. So those goes on the side. Elevator, elevator. These are the vertical tails, which I also need this little piece in there. So pop those on. There are no alignment pins. No, on these prints so far. I'm glad it's looking better. No, they're completely flat, which is an issue, or like, isn't awesome, but they printed like this, so it's kind of what I got to work with. But yeah, there aren't any alignment pins, which, the whole idea is that this is going to be too heavy to fly, because this is normal PLA, so it's, yeah, I totally agree. Best practice would be to have some alignment sticks, because this is annoying, to say the least. Just to have to like think about it. But like I was saying, this is probably most likely going to be too heavy to fly. So what I want to do is just get it as nice as I can, then buy some lightweight PLA, and then actually reprint everything and try to fly it. And then I'll just put this on my wall because it looks really cool. How heavy is it so far? Glad you asked. I did the measurements, which you won't be able to read very well, but here they are. But I initially printed off all these parts the first time with my old, yeah, it'll just be wall art. But if you can see that here, I'll read it off too. But I printed it off the first time with way too many, much infill and walls. And so like this fuselage part on this side used to weigh 120 grams and now it's 52. The middle part was 346 grams. Now it's 100. So I've got all of these spare parts, which are really thick and heavy. And as you can see, I printed this with the Elegoo Neptune 4 Pro, and it's not the greatest, which is also, it's like really heavy and thick. Like this part is fuselage 3. This part weighs 337 grams. So it's got some heft to it. The new part weighs 160. So like shaving pretty much half of the weight off just by printing it with better settings. It might work. You're right, it might. So yeah, now I've got a Bambu Lab P1S, which is awesome. And that's why it looks so nice, I assume, because I dried out all the filament like you're supposed to, and then I changed the walls down to 1 and the infill down to 3%. So this is super light now, and it's also fit for a 70 millimeter EDF. So it's a lot bigger. But yeah, it's a little annoying not having any alignment pins because I'm just kind of shooting and praying here. But it is really cool. Yeah, settings for sure matter. And it was just something I didn't notice the first time around. But yeah, so like gluing in this back vertical stabilizer, it's just like, well, it's also would be nice to have alignment pins, because when I hold it in place, my gloves stick because it's glue. And then it's like, it's hard to hold it and, you know, get it in place. So I might glue all but the front and the back, so when it squishes out, it's not on my gloves, and then I can hold it in. But yeah, it's for sure not perfect yet. But if it was perfect, it wouldn't be fun, you know, tinkering on it. So I'm just gonna leave the front and back unglued so I can hold it. But yeah, there's Bambu Lab PLA Aero, A-E-R-O, which is Bambu Lab's version of the like lightweight foaming PLA. But there's also other brands. But I think I'm just going to try to find a white lightweight foaming PLA, and then oh, is that on my finger? God. And then spray paint it the right colors, because that way it might be a little bit cheaper too, instead of buying all the different colors of each. And if I can even add some alignment pins, that would make life a lot easier. It was for sure the right play to just get the middles, or not glue the middle, and then hold it in place, and then I can always add glue at the end if I want. But those are the vertical stabilizers, which look awesome. I've got wings in here, which Wings, I got to assume there's a hole there, so maybe that goes on this side. Yeah, and most lightweight PLA is white. Yeah, and I was looking on the Bamboo Lab website too, and they're like, the lightweight PLA is even easy to paint because it has a little more texture to it, because when it foams, it expands and leaves it a little rougher. Yeah, I looked, before I started printing anything, I looked a lot for gold and purple lightweight PLA, and it's just like, I would so buy some if it existed, but alas, I don't think it does. Oh, it even has an L and an R on it? It's got an L. I would expect an R. Am I crazy? That's for sure an L. No R. Well, let's use our deductive reasoning and put that on the left side. So that goes there. Also, there's these little nose, or like front of the wing pieces, and this dot goes on the bottom, I'm assuming for center of gravity. So yes, that fits a lot better. So I think I'm gonna perhaps learn from my mistakes and glue this in first. So we got the full wing, and then I'll glue it to the plane. So that, I'll do my best here. But yeah, this will probably become wall art. It will be a wall art, because there's no gear, which I could either change the files to add a gear or do something, make it a fixed gear, but I really like retracts, especially if it's on a jet. I saw you were letting us pick the colors, so why would I coordinate ever? Yeah, that's awesome. The initial, like the very, very first short of this project, I put purple F22 Raptor. That was just like, oh, that might be cool, but I'll see what everyone says. And then, yeah, everyone just kept saying purple, and the gold tips look awesome too. So I really appreciate the coordination, because I left it open for the chance of it being some crazy multicolored plane, because I thought, why not? That would be that'd be interesting. But deep down, I really wanted something like this, where it's like all the same color and not like a gray. Although gray looks cool, but like I love the idea that this is all the input from everybody. Like, that's just fun. We're also getting a nice wing in here. But yeah, the gold accents, great idea. Like that looks so slick. And I try to make sure they were all facing the same way, or like it wasn't like along the front. It was all like. But yeah, great idea. I really appreciate that. That's funny and fun. Can I even lay this? No. All right. There's also a spar that if I actually wanted to fly, I'd have to buy. But I actually scaled this whole plane up 9.4% because it's originally designed for a 64 millimeter EDF. I only had a 70 millimeter EDF, so it makes everything bigger. But that also means that the holes that are made for stuff are a little bit bigger. So when I print it in the lightweight version, I might scale it back down just to the original 64 millimeter, so I don't have to mess with any of the other things, because the holes for like the servos are different. So that would just mean I have to do other stuff. But I had a 70 millimeter EDF. I was like, you know what, might as well do that. But that's at least what got us to here. But I want to put this wing on. See, I'm putting a good dosage of glue on here, because I want it to stay. Not my glove. Push it up against something. I gotta find gloves that are like CA glue resistant, because I keep just ripping them as I put them in. Yeah, I have a plane with a blue bottom and a gray top, working aviation lights. That sounds awesome. Yeah. The lightweight PLA for sure will need more help. I mean, if this is just going to sit on the wall, it'll be fine, but man, I'm trying to figure out how to like I'm going to add a little more glue, but can I just rest it? Sure. It's just plastic, right? Yeah. I'm just going to add a strip of glue around the bottom here. Then have the quick smooth. And then a spray. God, chemical reaction. Hot. Okay, there's a gap here, and I'm going to even be brave and use the gap filling glue because where does it say gap filling? Ah, gap filling. Because we're smart and professional. We have the right kind of glue. I think that did the trick. Oh, yeah, that totally filled the gap. Look at us. And I now have 2 layers of gloves on this hand because I kept ripping the thumbs off. And instead of taking a glove off and putting a new glove on, I just was like, to heck with it. Are you going to try to fly it, or is it like... I think it's just going to be too heavy. I would really love to try and fly it, because, I mean, come on. I just think it's going to be, it's pretty beefy as is. I mean, it's right now 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 500 or 600 grams, just based on the measurements I did. Like, it would be so cool. I just think it would take off like a missile and then just never get off the ground. Again, it would be good for content because that would probably be pretty funny to watch. But I mean, like this too. I mean, come on. How are we going to answer the viewers? I don't know. I'll probably... you're probably going to see this short in, I don't know, a week or so, maybe a couple days of just saying, yeah, you know, flight destruction would be cool. I'm just going to, like, tuck tail and be like, I can't do it. It's too heavy. Or, you know, maybe I'll do it. We will see. Because I can't argue with it would be good for content, because it totally would. If it missiles, yeah, I gotta get as many cameras as I can. That's the only, like, questionable part is the control surfaces, because there's no rudders. There's only, what's it called? Tailerons, I think? So that is also like an interesting tough part, is that you could add in ailerons and rudders, but I didn't. So having it actually fly in a controllable manner might prove to be difficult as well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be the goal. And I might even make it, like, I'll remake it all purple. So I won't go through the whole process of, like, what part should we do? Or, like, this part's going to be this color and repeat. I'll probably just do, like, yeah, I will have the banking egg. But I'll just be like, this is what it looks like. Unfortunately, it's too heavy. So I bought lightweight PLA, printed it, tried it again. So, like, it might be, like, one smooth short instead of it being like drawn out again, because I really like this idea of pick a plane, have the viewers pick the colors, fly it. Like, that's super cool. That's a fun idea, at least. So I want to make sure to keep doing that. And I do love the Raptor. Like, that's such a cool plane. I just would love to have it work. Do white and purple. Yeah. It's gonna be a completely white printed plane, and then yeah, I'll spray paint and try to make that look all nice and fancy. But I mean, this glossy purple looks incredible. Like, every time I see it like this, I'm like, oh, can you imagine this flying by? Like, come on. But also to add in little support pins or alignment pins, like you said, is a great call. Just for, like, sanity's sake. I love when I do these projects and I start tasting the glue as I'm, you know, dispersing it, because that is pungent. Stings the nostrils. I mean, you could always make it open prop and then obscenely large motor prop in the end. That is true. I'd have to have a very tall gear to handle that kind of absurdity. Drop the glue. Can you imagine? Chop the nose off. Huge motor. The first prop-driven F22. I guess they're all technically prop-driven, but... It's very satisfying putting these glue when it, like, actually aligns correctly. Because all I'm doing is following the seams. I'm going to let it sit for a second instead of immediately creating a chemical reaction by wiping it. Okay. It's just incredibly large. This would for sure be the biggest plane I've ever flown. Desk. Although I do have the EC1500 that I haven't flown yet, but I'd want to. Like, that glue wipe, very satisfying. Just, let's see, you can always make it open, prop you up, and now just throw it, and then have the Navy style tow hook catch. Oh, I see. Oh yeah, I've seen that E-Flight, or not E-Flight, Flight Test one. Golly, it's too big to fit on camera, and that camera's really high up. Man, come on. How big of an EDF do I need to make this fly? Oh wow. I'm glad that's not my hand that just ripped. Guess what? Can just patch that by putting on another glove. I've always thought, if you make a really poorly designed, way too heavy plane, you can just add a big enough motor and it'll fly. Like, look at that. Fix the glove. Now I just got my hand on it. But yeah, if I just put like a 90 millimeter EDF in this PLA printed plane, would it fly? I don't know, but it's so cool. I mean, come on. That's incredible. biggest one is a 5-foot wingspan. Jeez. That's like very big. Look at that angle. Jeez. I just have the elevators left. And by gluing those on, I think I will seal its fate in that it will never fly, because then it will have no control surfaces. And my other option, I don't even know what it is, because the elevator has a hole like this, and there's just a hole there. So like, I don't even know how it would work or rotate, or like, I guess I should watch the video on, or like how he did it, but yeah, it would be a monocopter of just some beefy thing. But I mean, if I just glue this here and just align that with that, I mean, I don't think there's even sides to these, or would it wouldn't even matter because they're uniform in shape. So I'll just, you know what, this has got a smooth top, this has got a smooth top. We'll put smooths there. Yeah, that's why I like the 1.2 meter is like the perfect size, because it fits in my car. Anything bigger than that, I've got to take the wings off and do that before I go fly. All right, I'm just gonna pop these on. I got nothing to lose. Gonna line these holes up. And wait. The gold tips, such a good idea. Like just looking for, oh, you can't see, kind of. Gold tip. There, like, jeez, crazy cool. FWIW. I don't know what that stands for. Smoother bottom is more important as the bottom is the high pressure. Oh, well, I should have listened then. I didn't. I went for aesthetics over engineering. It's kind of the theme with my planes, though. Gosh, I am ripping through. Oh, my thumb has got another rip. I already have 2 gloves on, and I ripped through both. I just want my thumb to not be, like, the skin burned off of it when I'm done. Maybe it's time to get a new Kleenex. Okay, that tail is on. Time to rotate. You know what? This isn't like, it's too late now because I glued in the vertical, or the rudder, and so, and I keep going in between. Is it actually too heavy? And I think it actually is too heavy because it's heavy. But then, you know, maybe. Also trying to get this glue chunk off. Yeah, whatever. I'll survive. I didn't know I needed to get a wider full angle, a full desk view. But yes, but I'm working on a big old plane. That makes sense. Look at that. Amongst my hobby, I'm even learning stuff. What is this, school? Just kidding, I haven't been in school in a while, so maybe that'd be good for me. Okay, I see a bubble of glue. Yeah, whatever, it's not going anywhere. Okay, cap on glue, cap on glue. And dare I say, this is crazy. Let's give you this view. Oop, see a nose. Come on. That looks crazy. Oh my goodness. This is incredible looking. And it's gonna be the coolest wall mounted thing ever. Because this is crazy. Great ideas. Great ideas. I'm also going to glue in some magnets here because I do want to keep it open, or like the ability to open it up, and I've got a bunch of magnets, so might as well two birds this stone. I think these are even the right size. I was wrong. That's the right size. Okay. So if I go like this and like this, can't really see. It's like almost, ooh, yeah, there we go. So if I go like that, put glue in this side. There we go. Glue it in, and then if that connects like that, just rip it clean off. Hopefully that teaches it a lesson. Okay, so if that attaches like this, I'm going to have the other magnet fit in there exactly the same way. Right, because if that sticks like that, then this side goes in there. Might have to double magnet this because it's just far enough apart. That'll probably work. It's not really the tightest, but it doesn't need to be. It's just going to be used to hang on. There's also a back magnet I could probably pop in if I wanted to, but that looks so crazy. Let's see. Ugh, there we go. Got the top off. Ta-da. Oh, that's the wrong button. Like I can't even give you a good angle of it. It's too big from every of the two angles I got. That looks so cool. I'm looking at it through the camera because like this angle looks so cool. Man, do I want it to fly. But like this plane at this size would so fit a nice head tracker and camera right here, all the innards, everything. But man, it is crazy. Just a second. Man, I'm just sitting here like admiring this plane right now. Or I guess it's just a wall mount, but like, yeah, this is so cool. This would be such a good thumbnail. Hit one with one of these too. Man, this isn't where the live stream is going to end either. I've got a whole another part that I want to work on, but I just wanted to look at this for a second because, wow. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Just incredible. You can pop that off, pop that back on. Jeez, W's in the chat. Skull. Oh, that's also a kind of a fun reason why I wanted the purple and gold. I'm a Vikings fan, so that means this is a Vikings plane. Man, I've got to really like move on to the next part of this whole phase because I could just look at this forever, but I can't. The show must go on. Okay, that's enough gawking at it. I will now put this on the floor while I wait and we engage in the next step of this process, which is I bought this EDF on Facebook Marketplace and it is broken pretty much beyond repair, and I don't want to repair it. I do want to take all the electronics out of it and then scrap the fuselage and then use these electronics in that plane eventually. So then that is what part 2 of this live stream is going to be, is just gutting it, which I thankfully can take off these double layered gloves because, ugh. But let's see, this part is already freaked. So now it's just a matter of going through and taking out everything that I need. Thanks. I think it's really cool. I am very stoked on how it looks. It also has retracts, this busted up plane that I bought. So like, that'll save me some money. Not having to buy a full new set of retracts, because I for sure want retracts in whatever plane I fly if possible. But yeah, part 2 of this stream is just total teardown. And then scrapping and using it for parts. I have a drill. We're not animals. Especially since this would take me a while. Oop. Sorry if that's loud. Time to strip out every one of these screws when I unscrew it. Maybe a little less torque. Okay, is this bit not want to act right? Or maybe the screws are just too small. I just really don't want to be wasting a lot of time. pH 1? Sure, why not? Wait, these are all pH 1s? 3 different pH 1s? They're probably all the same. This one might be stripped. Oh no, it's just hot glued in there. Or there's just a little bead of hot glue, which makes it impossible. Yeah, these are very much so glued in, which is a little more permanent than I would like them to be. Thing is, I don't need these, so if I could just, or like I don't need to save the fuselage by any means, so I'm just going to try to get them out at all costs. Let's be smarter than the plane. It's always our goals. I wonder if I have some of this unglue. That would kind of eat away at it. I just want these to come out. Oh, these might come out just fine. Okay, they might still be glued in. Might be so out of luck. Oh no, that twists. It was just being annoying, that's all. Yeah, that twists too. Okay, drill, you failed that one. Okay. Should be one gear that's almost out. And the plate. And the rest of you. Alright, joke's over. Oh, it's a little piece of glue in the way. Aha! Oop. Sorry, Benji. Huzzah! The good thing is I don't care about what the fuselage looks like, as long as this gear gets out. Alright, gear has been removed. And this part too. Okay. Yay. Alright, what else do we got? We got some servos. Let's see. Can you fold this? Sure. If you had any questions or comments, now would be a great time because I'm no longer super focused on getting the plane glued together. I am instead tearing this old plane apart, which is more fun. Well, it's easier to just casually do. There we go. That out of there. Okay, that one's out of there. Something very satisfying about just peeling all of the, like, important stuff out. Oh, there's even a spar in here. I could even take that. Yippee hooray. Oh, there's screws there. There's even hinges. Yeah, there's a lot of usable stuff in here, which I'm for sure going to take. As also my plan was to free up space on that wall by getting rid of this stuff, because this plane, I was never planning on fixing it and flying it. But I did have all the parts, so like, might as well. If you're just now joining, you missed the whole installation and gluing together of the Raptor, which is sitting on the floor behind me. So if you want to see it, let me know. If you don't want to see it, that's kind of mean. Because it is crazy cool. And right now, I am just tearing apart this plane I bought off Facebook Marketplace in order to utilize all of the electronics and innards so I don't have to buy it myself. So like I just took off a aileron, trash. And then I got hinges here. Those are still usable and nice. Maybe this is a play. You find crappy planes on Facebook Marketplace, or planes that are like, could reasonably be fixed, but then scrap them for parts. There's also an ESC in this plane still, which made it immediately worth it to go buy, because I don't want to buy a ESC if I don't have to. Okay, we are doing a good job so far. Nothing in there. There is that spar I want to get at some point. There's these LEDs, which I don't necessarily want, but I do want this servo connector. Okay. Flip it. Repeat. Screw, screw, screw. There should be another one. Maybe there was for sure 4, and I got 3 in my hand. So that means one made it. Well, that's fine. Let's see, get these out of there. Okay, servo, servo. These are even like really nice long leaded servos, which are uncommon and nice. Oh, there's a screw. Hinge, hinge. Guess nothing wrong with just breaking it if that's what I'm going to do anyways. All these little hinges, which I've never seen that style before. Okay, what else are we missing from this? I guess we could take the wing just move off. I guess looking back, I could have probably just bought like a spare nose and screwed it on and then still used this plane, but I didn't really, that was never in the vision. It was always just to be a scrap plane to use for other planes. Okay, those are all the screws. I'd appreciate it if it just, oh no, I see, it's completely glued in. That's why it's not going anywhere. I guess I can just take, this is where the real money is made here. If I take this off, And this was something I wasn't expecting when I bought this. It's a full motor already in here, which is awesome. I'm gonna make sure I get all of these motor screws and the little casing and everything. Okay, that's the motor. I want to get into the insides, which don't look like they've got an easy access point because this wing is just glued on. I could just cut into it a bit. Now's a good time to practice carefulness. Come on, wing, you are no longer required. Sorry if you hate this sound, it'll be over at some point. All right, wing, that's it. Joke's over. I could also just take this wing off because safety squints. Oh, that's why. The spar. The spar that I was going to take out, which is now cracked. Probably too big anyways. Wing. That's why it wasn't removing. Actually, it's a spar, but it's kind of a flat rectangular spar, so that would have been kind of annoying to use anyways. But I also could have just cut into like the top. Well, live and learn. The spar is also pretty glued in there, so I don't think I could even remove it that well. Yeah, I just cracked the wing off this plane.
Oh. You cracked it? I thought I heard, dang it.
No, that was... Well, I did say dang it because I was like, why isn't it coming off? But there's a carbon fiber flat piece, which I was just trying to rip it off because I was done with it. But I was like, oh, dang, I was going to use this carbon fiber spar, or like I could potentially use it, but I just took it off for the sake of it.
I know it's sick.
Isn't it cool?
It smells so strongly of glue in here.
That would be the glue.
You're probably high.
Could be.
Like you're not good.
Yeah, I could crack a window. Let's be smart. Oop. That was my wife. It is possible to be in the hobby and have a wife, so things are looking up. I also was gonna get a knife that's got a little longer blade on it. Or I guess I'll just keep using this one that's all cut down. I cut through the wires. That's annoying. Not at all difficult to fix, but just annoying. Okay, there's got to be a better way in. Which I'm guessing it would have been through this bottom hatch, but it was glued in, so I couldn't get there. It's also like connected to something. Yeah, I really want just this part off. Knife, bigger knife. And if I just go right down the belly. What I'm trying to do is just release this wing from the rest of the plane so I can take all the innards out without having to cut through the top of the plane. And normally it looks like this would be released by screws, but this plane has been through a lot, so it's just glued on. What do we call in the business gluing it on? Which is a reasonable solution, but it makes it hard to get at the innards. Oop. Once this wing releases, we'll be very much so in business, which it looks like it wants to, except on this side. I don't know why, but the song, The Shot Heard Around the World, is stuck in my head from Camp Rock, or what's that animated show that tells you about grammatics and stuff. Is that Camp Rock? School of? No, not School of Rock. Something with that idea. Come on, Wing. I get it. You don't want to leave, but guess that'll work. This is how it feels to chew 5 gum. Okay, where? Yeah, the ESC is right here. Which actually, even if I got through here, no, the wing coming off would for sure make this easier. We're just doing some light ASMR. Light ASMR. Safety squints. It's a nice ESC in there. I promise you, there is one in there. This wing is pissing me the GD freak off. I don't use language like that all the time, so just know that's where I'm standing right now. How is this wing still on there? There we go. I should really just, we should have gotten a garbage bag before I started. Now we're in business. Some electronics. All right, tail, you gotta go too. After all that, gotta take care of the tail first. pretty harsh language. This is a hard watch. Yeah, it's this plane was just been on my wall for a while, so it was never gonna fly, and it has nice electronics in it, and I don't want to pay extra for electronics if I got them. So yeah, apologize for the harsh, crass language, but it was really freaking me. You know what? I don't even need that screw. There you go. This is a hard watch. I also opened the window because a lot of glue fumes. So that's probably where all the coarse language is stemming from. Glue. And then still got these little hinges. Hard watch, but needs to be done. Well, that's why. Why was it screwing it in? Maybe that screw didn't do anything wrong. It just wrong place, wrong time. I don't know, there's something to buying a plane that has no chance of flying and then just scrapping it for parts. Usually I'm so super careful about everything because I probably want to reuse it. A bit extend would go crazy. Anyways, like I was saying, it's nice to just take no caution when just ripping it apart. Yeah, you can see I'm pretty handy. Even had a bit extender, no big deal. If they had a bit shortener, I could probably use that too. That's life though. Oh yeah, still got. Oh, there's even 2 servos, one for each elevator. So that's just profit. I'm also not. Thank you, Milwaukee Drill. Yeah. Not sponsored, but if Milwaukee wanted to sponsor us, we do use your tools. We, meaning I won it in a raffle, so stoked about that. Being the handy one in the family, I do need to, stay up to date on the newest tech, So that's just at least what I'm here to do. Anywho. Back to tearing this plane apart for parts. I know it's colder outside, but it really, even with the window open, does not feel... I don't know what that last comment says. It looks just like a little X. I turned off all, comment, whatever. So, You must have really said something bad. I'll just assume you said the worst. Let's see. God, screw just does not want to behave. It's an emoji that shows a face like this. I have no idea what that would be in reference to. Should I just act like this is like a super popular big streamer? Thanks, Big Hog, for the 10 gifted. I don't know what that means, but they say it, so it must mean something. How in the world? I have to empty my trash after doing this, which is just probably the biggest loss of this whole evening. Look at that, more servos. I wonder if the guy who sold me this plane knew that it was just going to be completely scrapped. Look at that. Trash. Now we might finally get to the good stuff here. This is all just on purpose to keep you waiting around before I get to the ESC here. Okay, so that's, I gotta make sure these stay together. So we got ourselves here a really nice set of cords. We got a Skywalker Hobby King 60 amp UBEC, that's cool. And a Free Wing Motar. That's cool. Stoked, that should work for something. Heck, I could probably connect it up to give it some power, see what happens. Okay, that's all that. I do want to take these wooden plates out of here because they are the perfect size for what we need. Unless they are into the wall. Ah, that's why it was kind of glued in. All right, that's one wooden piece and one last wooden piece. I'm just doing it manually. All right, that plane is completely taken apart. Make plane from tail challenge. could. There is all this scrap left from all the dead stuff. But man, look at all this detritus. Make a plane from the tail challenge? Yeah, that would be cool. Throttle. Let's see. 4 to 6 cell. This is just power. That wire is slightly frayed, but just okay. I want to see if this could spin up actually. Let's see. Throttle will be controlled via this. And then power. Wonder what's wrong with this battery. Let's see, is this a better angle? Nah, bolt desk. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in. Yeah, it works. I'm trying to give it just a tiny bit of throttle here. 1200 is the low. Let's see what we can get. Golly. Yeah, that's got some juice to it. That's cool. All right, well, we know it works, which is awesome. So we have a fully working, what size plane is it? I think it's 70 millimeter. Was someone smoking just then? Was that a floaty? No, okay, that was just a little fuzzy. Okay, we've got that, which is super cool. Which it actually should fit in our plane there. This had a lot of juice, which is very cool. There's also a twin version of the Raptor, so maybe I just put twin 70s in there and just let her rip. I'm not seeing any no's in the chat on that idea, so. Let's see, that's this. I'm kind of cleaning up and wrapping down here because this has all gone pretty much to plan and I am so stoked at it. Let's get a little Ziploc bag and then really put all this stuff in it. So I got all of this. This is all usable to some degree. The stream's a little behind, or like the chat. Are you saying no, definitely not to the twin 70 millimeter EDF setup? Because I think that's a kind of a winner. Oh, I should also test to see if those gears work, because we have two. We're gonna have to add a nose gear. But that would still be pretty sweet. Seeing all yeses in the chat so far for the twin 70. I mean, of course, we can scale the plane down, but then make it big enough for the twin 70 so that we're all back to square. Twin 70 will explode when it hits the ground. Well, what if it just flies perfectly? Yes. I think we have not thought of that. What if it's just perfect? You're not dreaming big enough. Oop. Unfortunately, you might be correct. Okay, let's see if this gear works, because that would be pretty sweet. Oh. Okay, we've got one gear that works. That's awesome. We got 2 working gears. Screw it, twin 100 millimeter EDFs. Yes, how do you mod people on this? That's a great idea. Along with our 2 working gears. Yeah, okay. So so we pulled out of that plane was 2 working gears. We'll need to buy a working nose gear, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 9-gram servos, one with a severed, oh, there it is, one with a severed lead. But that is a great haul and can totally be used. And of course, the fan and the ESC, which are arguably one of the more expensive parts of this plane. Screw it, 100 millimeter. But I guess we will pretty much call it there, because yeah, this beauty all done, and then we just scrapped an old plane for a new one. But I mean, I think this angle, imagine twin 100 millimeter EDFs. Thanks, engineer adjacent, for that idea. We'll for sure do that. Twin 100 millimeter EDFs. That's like that big. 2 of them, of course. But just, come on. How could you not want to see that? Cool. I think we're going to wrap it up. I've also done the cleaning portion of the end of the stream, where my office looks at least like I can work in it tomorrow. But yeah, this just looks incredible. So yeah, I think as powerful as that motor was, I don't think it would be strong enough to get this thing off the ground. But like, imagine those gears on here. Don't worry about that. A nice little gear action somewhere in the wing. Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, we're gonna have to, our tentative plans are to buy some lightweight foaming PLA, reprint this plane, and make it lighter, and then try to fly it. But in the meantime, we've got a dirty purple and yellow F22 Raptor. So that is where we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching and sticking through all of this crazy bad start to the stream. For whatever reason, my Wi-Fi was being really slow, and so the first attempt was very poor. But we got it to a point where we want it. It looks awesome. And I really appreciate everyone who stuck around and watched, because I had a fun time talking about this whole project. So cool. Ready, break. Just about time to see the very end of the football game, and then, yeah. Well, cool. Thanks so much for watching, and stick around for more live streams and more purple planes and everything in between.